Hey, Ken Johnson here with Great Wave Communications, and we're continuing our series of interviewing different folks with a connection to Conneaut or Ashtabula County who've gone on and done amazing things and really become leaders in their field, kind of inspire the rest of us to think big, and especially for our young people that are still in school. And the privilege a couple years ago of meeting Mr. Ray Fogg, and today we're up in Cleveland and have the honor to meet with Mr. Fogg and get a chance to get a feel for his connection to Northeast Ohio and specifically the Conneaut area. So Ray, first of all, we're looking at a couple of neat pictures here, and of course this sign you'll see walking through Cleveland Hopkins Airport. Yeah. Tell us about Fogg Construction and Fogg Builders.
Well, we started in 1959 with a franchise from Armco Steel Corporation, and we expanded very quickly into steel erection and then into foundation work and then completing that. So basically we grew to be a engineering, design, and then because our customers needed it, we went into the real estate business and developed industrial parks and got in the industrial park business. But of the some 4,000 buildings that we have built, almost all of them are industrial and almost all of them are in Northeast Ohio, including one in Conneaut.
Really? Give us an idea of the scale of Fogg Builders, your portfolio. I mean, how many buildings? Is there a dollar value on the portfolio?
Well, there's a dollar value on the real estate that we own and lease, about $100 million
Wow.
in that category, and they're scattered through. We built about 4 different industrial parks, and they're in industrial parks. And one of the industrial parks is now Bluestone and is taking over and really expanding very well at the present time.
Outstanding. Now we're going to kind of try to figure out how in the world you're tied to Conneaut. So let's go way back, and I think there's, you know, certainly the Conneaut connection, but also the construction connection with your father. Tell us a little bit about your dad and what he did.
I was born in 1930 when my father was here in Cleveland building the foundations for the Cleveland Terminal Tower.
Really?
And then going on to build the Detroit Superior Bridge and the Main Avenue Bridge. So he was at the, but this, he started in the construction business in Denver, Colorado, and then moved over and progressive things in many parts of the country. Locally, besides the stuff he built in Cleveland, he built the 2 of the tunnels on the Pennsylvania Turnpike, Kittatinny and Blue, and he also built the Ravenna Ordnance Plant very close to here, very large, and just an amazing one that he had 8,000 employees building that plant in 1 year. And it just amazes me, without computers and everything else, how did he schedule 8,000 people a day?
Exactly. And that would have been in the lead up to World War II, I assume?
Yes,
So if he's working in Cleveland, he comes from Denver, does some projects in Cleveland, I assume, contracting kind of thing. How in the world did your family end up in Conneaut?
Well, I've told you that story, but the story is we're driving back from Buffalo, where my father had built a series of bridges and tunnels and etc. for mainly going around through railroads. But we were driving back and going along at that time Lake Road, and we had a flat tire in our car. And Dad got out of the car and noted that there was a 6-car garage across the street, and went there. And of course, Mother got us all kids out of the car, and we're sitting on the grass, and she makes friends with the neighbors, and we find, to rather horror, that just the other day a relative of Calvin Coolidge had committed suicide over in that garage.
Oh, boy.
And the Coolidges were in the process of selling all of their property. And Mom saw a bargain, and she met with Coolidge and bought their house, which became our summer house, that we went to every summer from 1930 on, and then lived there later on. So our starting there is in 1930.
Wow. And that property was on Lake Road, maybe what, about a mile east of North Kingsville?
Yeah.
Is the house still there?
No, I went by the other day to look at the house and take some pictures of the house, and was horrified to find that the bank had given in and the house had gone over the bank and wiping the house out, and another cottage that we had over the bank on the beach, all were gone.
In some of the time that we've chatted, you mentioned a lot of fond memories of that house and the cottage that was on the property, and some of the things with neighbor kids, friends, and even your mom, I guess, was quite the child at heart, it sounds like. Tell us a couple of stories of things you used to do at Fogg on the Lake, as it was called.
I remember my sister and my cousin were kind of artists and still did a lot of things later on, but they liked, we had what we called a clay bank, and they used to take me down. You got to remember, I'm the young one of the bunch, and they used to like to get me to stand still, and they would get clay and model the clay on me and to make something out of me, and they used to love to sneak me up, then to say boo at my mother as she saw that whatever they had made of me. And so that was fun. But the other thing that I really remember is that the cousins got to telling a story all the time, and we had a particular plum tree that we used to go out and sit in, and the cousins would start the story, and the way they went, they would tell the story to a point and then point at another cousin they had to pick up, like, and he jumped off the cliff, and they'd point at the other cousin would say, and luckily there was a tree for him to grab a hold of.
Jeez. Now, I heard that maybe it was rumored that maybe there was a pirate connection deep in the family.
Yeah, they indicated that, and we did do some with the Boroff side of the family, my mother's side of the family, which had lots of things that they did in the arts and etc. But they got us kids doing treasure hunts and etc. With the so-called pirate that we had, a member of the family.
Now, your father was off building, construction, and whatever. Your mom's at home with the children, but it sounds like she didn't just stay, cooking and cleaning and doing laundry. Tell us a little bit about her exploits.
She was quite a writer. When we were living in Lakewood, Ohio, she got associated with the PTA, and then through them, she started a program somewhat like the Quiz Kids, did that, and then started another program that was called the Tinker Kids and Liza.
Okay.
Which I think you found an article about that in the Conneaut News Herald. But the Tinker Kids and Liza was about a black maid with two devilish children that kept getting the black maid into trouble over things, and that was a story. And they were on WTM in Cleveland, and then got the ability to go on to New York, and we're on New York. I'm going to forget the channel around with NBC at the time.
Okay.
I really was not. Got to remember, I'm about 4 at that time, so my recollection of things. I remember being out in the lobby while they were in there doing the radio program. Again, this was radio, not TV.
Right.
And they would do the radio, but amazingly so, Mother was writing the script. They were on their air 5 days a week.
Wow.
And she was writing the script. The two. Mother played the black maid, and as I say, the two sisters played the boy and the girl. And the girls would get out of school, public school that they had in New York, and get on a subway and come down to where we were in the NBC studio, come upstairs. I was out in the lobby with a coloring book, I think, at the time. But they would walk in, Mom would hand them the script, they would get one reading of the script, and they would go on the air.
And that was live, they didn't record it, right?
No, I don't think they had recording devices back then. But the one story I might do out of that I do remember is that one time Mother was getting out of the elevator and she stumbled and fell and broke her nose. Oof. And immediately she had to rewrite the script because she sounded funny with a broken nose. So she immediately rewrote the script minutes before they went on the air. And the girls grabbed the script and she was finished writing it and they went on the air.
Wow. But your father was still, I think, back in Cleveland at that time?
Well, while we're in New York, he is back in Cleveland, and that's when Mother decided that this was not the way to have a family, with half of us in New York and my brother with Dad in Cleveland. And so she gave up a tremendously promising career.
Sounds like
and moved the family together. And that's when we came back to Ohio.